Hello, Pickle Peeps. Thank you for joining me for another TLDR video. I'm your host, Voodoo Pickles, and today we're going to be talking about Pride and Prejudice and zombies. This book was written by Jane Austen and Seth Graham Smith. It's a retelling of the original Pride and Prejudice written by Jane Austen in the early 1800s. And this retelling is different, obviously, as you can tell with the title. It is in a world where there was a mysterious illness that broke out, a plague, if you will, and this illness caused dead bodies to rise up from their graves and come out as zombies. So as a result of that, London is surrounded by a wall to keep the zombies out. A lot of the more prominent families, anybody who has the money to, send their children to East Asia to train with monks or with dojos or any type of thing to become proficient in the deadly arts, is what they call it in the book. The book follows the original story of Pride and Prejudice, which follows the Bennets and the Darcys and the Bingleys. And what it is the Bennets have 5 daughters. And Mrs. Bennet is trying to marry off all of her 5 daughters, or at least most of them, before her husband dies, because there's no male heir. Their house, their fortune, everything gets sent off to a distant cousin, and so she's worried about that. Mr. Bingley, a rich single man, comes to their town with his friend Mr. Darcy and his sister, and they are just around. He starts to fall in love with Jane. Elizabeth watches this. It's so cute, and she's really happy for them. But she doesn't realize that Mr. Darcy is following her after their first encounter at a ball where they all meet. And he starts to insult her. She hears it, and she wants to kill him for dishonoring her, and how dare he, which I thought was funny. And the ball ends, there's a zombie attack, and it ends, and that's where Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley get to see how deadly the 5 Bennet daughters are. And they start hanging around each other. There's some attraction there. Elizabeth does not like Mr. Darcy because he's kind of a dick. But every more interaction with her and him, he starts to fall for her. He likes her wit, he likes her intelligence, he likes how she just is. They're all hanging out. There is a local militia that comes into the local town because the town is becoming overrun with zombies. So the militia is there to try and, kill the zombies. And from there, they meet Mr. Wickham. Mr. Wickham is in the militia, and he and his Darcy have history. Elizabeth catches that there's some history there, and she wants to know more, but nobody's really telling her anything. Mr. Darcy and Bingley leave. They leave so suddenly. Everybody thought he was going to propose to Jane, except he leaves and Jane is heartbroken. Nobody really knows why. And Elizabeth does find out from Wickham that Wickham says that Mr. Darcy's father loved him more than Mr. Darcy. And so when he died, Mr. Darcy refused to give him his inheritance and refused to do all of these things for him. And he was just mean and hurt him and broke his legs for no reason. And Elizabeth is just astonished about this. Jane goes to London to be with some family members to try and get over Mr. Bingley. And while she's there, Elizabeth starts to hang out more with Mr. Wickham. The aunt, before she leaves, she came to visit when they took off Jane. Before she leaves, she tells Elizabeth, there's something not right here. You should distance yourself from him. And Elizabeth gets proposed to by her cousin, who's supposed to inherit their family house and fortune, and she turns him down. Her mother flips out, and then her best friend Charlotte tells her that she is going to marry this cousin. Elizabeth is shocked. She's like, why would you do this? And then Charlotte tells her that she was bitten by a zombie, so she doesn't have much time, and she is a spinster, so she wants to get married. She wants to have that marriage, be happily married, and then when the time comes, she wants somebody who will cut off her head and give her a good Christian pyre burning. So they go off. Elizabeth goes to visit them. Later on, after they're married, she stops by London to see Jane. Then she goes off to visit them. And while they're visiting, she sees the current downfall of Charlotte. Charlotte's getting worse and worse. And she's like, how does nobody notice this? What is going on here? Except she's meeting, everything's fine. And while she's there, Elizabeth gets to meet Lady Catherine. Lady Catherine is the lady of the land who is the most deadliest, most bestest lady in all of England. And she is the one who hired Elizabeth's cousin to work as like the pastor, the preacher in that area. So she meets her, and Lady Catherine's super rude to Elizabeth. Like she keeps inviting them over for tea, asking them to join, to hang out. And Elizabeth's like, how does she not know she's a zombie? Like she's becoming zombified. How does she not know? Can she not see it? That's odd. And Lady Catherine starts to talk down to Elizabeth because Elizabeth was not taught a lot of lady things because her father wanted her and her sisters to focus on being deadly to fight zombies. And a lot of the things that Lady Catherine is picking on Elizabeth about was Elizabeth was trained by monks in China. And Lady Catherine believes that anybody who is worth substance should be trained by ninjas in Japan. And so they have this like back and forth about which type of deadly arts is the bestest deadly arts. And then Lady Catherine decides to challenge Elizabeth to fight some of her ninjas. And she accepts it. And to make it more interesting, Elizabeth decides to blindfold herself while she's fighting these ninjas, and they all come at her one at a time. Lady Catherine's like scoffing. She's like, "You're gonna die." And Elizabeth's like, "They can try." And then Elizabeth kills all of the ninjas. The 5 best ninjas in Lady Catherine's house. Lady Catherine is super salty about this. While she's there, Mr. Darcy shows back up because Lady Catherine is Mr. Darcy's aunt. Him and his friend Colonel Fitzwilliam are there. They were there just to visit their aunt. He sees Elizabeth there, so he decides he wants to stay there for a while. He likes hanging out with her. He likes being around her. She likes picking on him about the way he acted, but she's also salty with him because of what he did to Mr. Wickham. After a while of being around, she gets annoyed with everybody there and decides, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. So she tells Charlotte and her cousin that she is sick and she can't go to Lady Catherine's house. And then while she's there, Mr. Darcy shows up and he's like, "Are you okay? Is everything fine?" And she's like, "I'm okay. I just did not want to go be around your aunt." And so he starts coming by and hanging out with her at the cottage. And after a while, she gets like annoyed with him, and then he asks her to marry him. He goes into it's a whole dialogue of all of these things. And then she's just like, "You know what? I was about to come and find you to kill you," because she just got a letter from her sister that, yes, she found out that Mr. Bingley is pointedly ignoring her. She starts fighting him. He's trying not to fight her. And then while they're fighting, they're arguing. And she's accusing him of all of these things, of what he did to Mr. Bingley to turn him against Jane, about Mr. Wickham, about how he treated her, about dishonoring her family. And she's like, "I'm going to cut off your head." They have like full on fight. There's even illustrations in the book. It's pretty great. And then after that, he tells her, like, she doesn't really know what she's talking about, but he did do the thing with Bingley, and she's really upset. They stop fighting when Charlotte and her cousin comes back, and then she's upset. The next day, she goes out for a walk. He finds her, and then he gives her a letter, and then he walks away. While he gives her the letter explains that he thought that Jane was afflicted with the illness and would soon turn into a zombie. He also heard her mother telling everybody at the ball that Mr. Bingley loves Jane and was just talking about the money and made it seem like Jane was just putting on airs so that she could get his money. So he convinced Bingley to leave and go and kind of stay away from Jane. And then he tells her about Mr. Wickham. Mr. Wickham was a part of his house, and his dad did like him, but he was also rude. He was also practicing his deadly arts on servants, and Mr. Darcy had to break his legs after his father died, because if he didn't, he would have killed a stable boy. After his father died, he did give him money, and then Mr. Wickham ran off, spent it all, and then came back and was like, "I need more money." And he told him no. And then Mr. Wickham convinced his little sister that they should go off and elope because Mr. Wickham wanted her money and her inheritance. And right before they could fully get married, Mr. Darcy found them, saved his sister, and then he hasn't seen Wickham since until he met him at the little village next to where Elizabeth was at. So he explains all of these things. And so she's super ashamed about it. She's very upset that she's like, oh no, I did this. This was my fault. And she goes home after visiting Charlotte and she's just really upset. And when Jane gets back from London with Mrs. Bennet's sister, her sister tells her, like, why are you so sad? And to cheer up Elizabeth, because Elizabeth's super down in the dumps now, she's like, all right, I'm going to go visit my village home area. Would you like to come with us? Elizabeth's like, yeah, sure. Why not? They go out and they start going to this village. They end up near Pemberley where they're talking about, oh yeah, we would love to visit. It's so great. It's so great here. Let's go visit. Let's go take a tour. And then Elizabeth realizes that that's Mr. Darcy's home. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. Except they're like, he's not supposed to be here. So it's fine. It's fine. And while they're visiting there, they're going out into the gardens and they get attacked by zombies. Elizabeth is the only one out of the three who is efficient enough to start fighting them. So she's fighting off the zombies. And then Mr. Darcy shows up with the musket and he shoots one of the zombies that's about to attack Elizabeth. He wants her to meet his sister. She meets his sister and they really enjoy each other's company. She gets a letter from Jane. And the letter from Jane says that her little sister, Lydia, ran off with Mr. Wickham and nobody can find them. She starts freaking out. Mr. Darcy shows up. She's freaking out, telling him what happened. They go back to where her house is, and everybody's freaking out about what's going on. Her mom has been like super sick in bed, throwing up, just saying, woe is me. I should have never let my daughter go out, even though she let her daughter go out to where Mr. Wickham was with a family they didn't really know. While they're there, Elizabeth's dad comes back to their house saying that their uncle showed up there and he's going to help look for them, and they sent him back to make sure that the family's okay. The uncle sends a letter saying that they found him, they're going to be married, everything's going to be fine, the scandal has been averted. Lydia and Wickham show up to the house like they're coming to visit. They find out that Mr. Wickham has been beaten lame. They said that he was in an accident. He can't move, he's paralyzed. And so Lydia tells them that he is going into the seminary priesthood. I don't know how it works over in England at that time, but he's going into the seminary priesthood. He's getting his own area to work. There's a certain church that works off in Ireland, I think it was, that works with paralyzed or disabled people, and he's going to be going there with Lydia. And Lydia's trying to say, oh, so we didn't need money because he's not going to be getting a lot. And there's like, okay, whatever. They just kind of rush them out. And while they were visiting, Elizabeth finds out from Lydia that Mr. Darcy was there at their wedding. She writes a letter to her aunt to find out what happened. Her aunt tells her that Mr. Darcy was the one that found them. He used his resources, his contacts. He found where they were at. He forced them to get married. And she found all of this out from her aunt, and she's really upset. And then she gets a visit from Lady Catherine, and Lady Catherine attacks her and tries to kill her because she was like, how dare you? I heard that you were going to marry my nephew. My nephew is supposed to marry my daughter. And Elizabeth's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They fight, and then Elizabeth spares Lady Catherine. Lady Catherine calls her weak for sparing her, but she leaves. And then Jane gets engaged with Mr. Bingley, and later Mr. Darcy asks her to marry him, and they get engaged afterwards, after she realizes that he did all of this, and he's like, I did it all for you. And they get married, and it's a cute little story. They get married, they're happy. Her and Jane get the land right beside each other. Mr. Bingley buys land by Pemberley, and they build a dojo right in the middle. So they're all there, they're all happy. It's adorable. I love this story. I definitely think that it's a really great retelling. It's super funny. It's a lot funnier than the original book. Puts a lot of modern humor into it, which is kind of hard to do, but if you're going to put zombies in it, I guess it's a little bit easier. But is it a totes or nope? I rated this a 4 out of 5, so I think it's a definite totes for me. You have to go in reading it Like, you're not reading a serious story here. It's not that serious. It's a retelling of a classic love story, but with zombies. But it is super funny, and I was still giggling at all of the things. It keeps a lot of the original dialogue from Jane Austen, of a lot of these interactions, which helps just add to the adorableness that's in it. I really like the story. If you like Pride and Prejudice, or you like zombies and want to read a cute little love story with zombies in it, I think you should definitely read it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to do all of the YouTube things, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.